Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing. It's Thursday night, which means it's time for the Front Row Racing World Series Round 13 in Singapore. Now, I've just gone and done something really daft, so I've gone and put myself off. I was meant to disconnect my Ethernet cable from my PC and instead I've turned it off. So all of my data and information is now gone from my secondary monitor. But we're on for the Front Row Racing World Series Round 13 in Singapore. A very difficult racetrack which all of the drivers will know about. Known as the Marina Bay Street Circuit, where the first Grand Prix was in 2008, and we're on for 31 laps this evening on a circuit that has 22 or 23 corners it might be. I'll check that in a few moments time once I get my my information back. Anyway, I'm Front Row Racing DP, otherwise known as Dave Lazy in Beds when I'm doing commentary, and I'll be joined in the commentary box this evening by Front Row Racing RI, otherwise known as Ray Joel Brooks. How are you this evening, Ray?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me. I wonder what the weather's going to be like since we've been hiding in this container all day.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think the weather is going to be on every single one of the drivers' minds. Given how the World Championship race went yesterday with the rain, I think every one of the drivers will want it to be a dry race this evening. Now, I'll take nothing away from Temp Fear. Did very well to take the victory yesterday in very difficult conditions, but I do feel that the rain did kind of ruin what could have been a fantastic race with sort of 4, 5, 6 cars battling for the lead. Got a bit of a 2-horse race that ended up being a 1-horse race. Okay, so in a moment's time I will go through the drivers' standings. As like I say, I do think weather could play a part this evening, but if there's ever a race where I would not wish rain on the drivers, this is definitely the one. Okay, I will have myself ready in a moment. I do apologise about this, folks. Usually I just disconnect my Ethernet cable, as I mentioned. But today I was in a bit of a rush and went and switched it off instead. But I do now have my statistics back with me, so I can go through the confirmation of the race result from the last round in Monza, Italy. So, confirming the result there, Hindle took victory there with Hybrid Nuke in second place, Rickster in third, and he was very close to the leading pair. Dave the Harp took fourth place with K-Slate in fifth, Front Row Racing GP in sixth, Acorn 95 in seventh, Ant 69 in eighth, Front Row Racing NW in ninth, and then we've got Farfba who got a DNF, retiring from the race. And then, unfortunately, we've got 4 disqualifications. That's Adam 4600, Charlie JBWC-09, Andy Russell, and Azamor, who's in as a reserve for Godolphin Sauber, all 4 having no race footage. It is an entry requirement for the drivers to record their footage and have it available. Okay, driver of the day went to Hindle for a dominant performance. He was in a class of 1 on that race, extending his lead in the standings and putting the pressure on his teammate to catch up. Team of the day went to McCharles McLaren Honda. The team appear to have found some extra pace out of the car and looks like they may be able to fight for victories now. A shame one of the drivers got a DSQ, as he too was going very well in the race. We'll quickly go on to the constructors standings and the drivers standings. In the drivers championship, we've got Hindle leading the way on 231 points, his teammate in second place on 216. We've then got Front Row Racing GP on 122, Dave the Harp on 108, Rickster on 92, K-Slay on 76, Acorn on 57, Richie Davey on 42, Ant on 35, then we've got Adam 4600, his teammate on 33, Andy Russell on 18, Charlie on 13, Farfba on 9, and Front Row Racing NW on 3, although I'm not sure that one was quite right. I'll have to double check that one. The constructors' standings go like this. Victoria's Secret Williams Racing of Hybrid Nuke and Hindle, they've got 447 points and they're looking clear now favourites to take the championship. In second place, we have Killer Acorn Mercedes. That's Dave the Harp on Acorn 95, and they're on 220 points. We then have Midlands Madness Ferrari on 206 points. That's Front Row Racing GP and K-Slay. We've then got Charles McLaren Honda on 125 points. That's Rickster and his teammate Charlie, although Charlie is unavailable today and gave a late request for a reserve, so he's unable to get one. We've then got Underdog Racing Red Bull. That's Ant69 and Adam 4600, and they're on 68 points. Then we've got Godolphin Sauber. That's Andy Russell and Richie Davey, but Azamort is in as a reserve for Richie Davey this evening. And Godolphin Sauber are on 60 points, so they could do with scoring 8 more than the Red Bull team. In 7th place, we have Nightfarth Man and Marussia, which is from Racing NW and Farfba. Farfba not with us just yet, but as of late, he has been joining us part way through the qualifying session. Okay, so that's all of the standings up to date and all sorted out. I will now just confirm the amount of corners on the racetrack. It is 23 turns for the drivers, and we'll be looking at a race of over 50 minutes in length, and if we do get some rain, we could be looking at going over into the hour like the World Championship race. Okay, Ray, how are we doing for time?
Yep, we're at 33 minutes past, so ready to go.
Okay, so the drivers that aren't with us just yet are Farfba, who hopefully will join us partway through qualifying, and Charlie, who I mentioned let us know late that he's not going to be able to race this evening. So we'll send the drivers over to the racetrack. They'll be sitting there now, gathering their thoughts, hoping for no rain. What do you think it's going to be like for the drivers, Ray, being sat there now with 20 seconds to go to find out what kind of weather conditions we're going to have?
Oh, they'll be nervous. They'll be hoping for the dry weather, because this track is quite hard in the rain. Excuse my voice, I had a bubble in my throat there. And hopefully it's... I like it when it's just intermediate and then dry. I don't like full wet and a track that's got barriers around it.
I mean, we could have many discussions about the full wet or the difference of weather effect on the cars. But we'll try not to go on to that one. But it's just, at most circuits, I wouldn't mind a splash of rain. It makes it a bit interesting. At this track, though, no, I don't want to see rain. I really don't. But we're about to find out what the weather's going to be like for qualifying, and it's a beautifully clear evening here at the Marina Bay in Singapore. So the drivers can take a deep breath. There still might be some wet weather. And on the forecast screen, it does say there in smallish letters, rain. So let's have a look. Cloudy with possible rain after a dry start. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to rain in the race. We'll have to wait and see. Ray, does your weather forecast suggest anything different from that?
Likely rainfall after a dry start.
So it looks like we could see a bit of rain at some point. I mean, here's something else for the drivers to consider. I mean, I know this from experience last night in the World Championship race. As we were driving round, myself and my teammate, we were asking our race engineer, who was at the circuit, to give us some weather forecasts. And for the most part, they were fairly useful. But every now and again, the engineer would come over the radio and just say, sorry, we don't have that data. And as a driver, it was really quite frustrating. But after the race, I was sat there and I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, you know what? Singapore is famous for having radio dropouts. Drivers having problems with their radio because it's in the city, there's buildings, there's flyovers, the connection with the car is not always brilliant. So possibly one of the effects could be that the team couldn't get the relevant weather data and then couldn't pass it on to the team. But it was something I hadn't experienced at any of the other tracks, but at this one I definitely did. Okay, looks like Front Row Racing NW is the first driver out on track at the moment, and he's sporting a set of prime tyres, the prime tyres being the yellow marked tyre and the option tyre being the red marked tyre. So we've got softs and mediums here in, I nearly said Bahrain, in Singapore. And when myself and Ray, we went and had a chat with a few of the drivers as we were sat there. Usually we'd go down to a bit of a press pen and they'd all come to us. This week we thought, you know what, we'll do it a bit different. We'll go and harass them. So we've been to all of the paddocks and had a little bit of a word with Furrow Racing NW. And here's what he had to say. Singapore, not my favourite track, but could be the most favourable if cars crash out and I stay in one piece and I could get their points. I need to earn points the driver's way on the track instead of getting points from off-the-track decisions. Them decisions definitely benefited me, but I need to actually try a lot harder. So we're looking for an increase of effort, is a want of way to put it from a Racing NW here. Now he has said when he's helped out in commentary before that in a qualifying session he likes to get out there, he'll put the prime tyres on, just go and do a few laps, get an eye of what the grip level's like for the track, and then go for an option run a little later on. So we'll see what kind of lap time he can get here on the prime tyre, as it looks like he's trying to get a bit of temperature into them, and temperature can be a huge factor around this circuit, can't it, Ray? Because it's at night and it gets cooler and cooler and cooler.
Yeah, you stuck me on it. I was looking through the driver comments.
I tell you what, I'll leave you to that then, while I'll waffle on, because you know I'm going to come to you for a few of them. But don't worry, I'll deal with GPs because it's been right mean this week. Right, potential qualifying lap time here in the dry could be in the 39s. That's what I was looking at for a dry session. But I reckon we're going to be looking at low 40s, mid 40s.
Yeah, qualifying last season was a 141.5 by Rickster, and that was in the dry.
And not only that, when I was looking at it, when I was looking at that information, I had to look twice because Rickster was nearly a second faster than everybody else in the qualifying session in Singapore last season. The boys got a bit of pace around here, or at least they did last season, but I had to double check as to whether it had been a wet session turned dry or anything like that, and it wasn't. And from a Racing NW, he's heading back into the pit. So Rickster he was about to complete a lap, but it's been invalidated, but he's on another flying lap now. So seeing as I've mentioned Rickster there, what did Rickster have to say when we harassed him?
Yeah, I'll just get to Rickster. I haven't done a lot of practice this week, nowhere near as much as I want to, so I might be off the pace, but still hoping for my luck to be on my side today, and yet again take the fight to the Williams. So he's looking to take a fight to the Williams, as Dave the Harps went first on a 143.3, so they're still looking for some time to come down.
That they are. Yeah, I mean, Rickster, he did put up a good fight against the Williams in Monza, and he'll be hoping to try and do it again today at a circuit where he said he's not had a lot of practice at, but he does know this track. As I said, he was on pole position last season. He was actually in place to win the race last season, and Rickster, I'm sorry for this, he was on for winning the race. It rained towards the end of the race, he stayed out on slicks. Konzo, with a lap to go, pitted for Inters and overtook Rickster on the last corner of the last lap. So Rickster has been pretty good around here in the past. He's done a sector 1 of a 28.9. It's not too bad, but really wants another 6/10 off that. Sector 2, 37.8. That's not too shabby at all. Sector 3, I'm trying to remember what sort of sector times I was looking at through here, because I was bugging Kev with with being a little quicker through sector 3 than himself in our practice sessions. But Rickster now up to the final corner, and it's going to be a 1:40.883. So Rickster setting the benchmark at the moment. Hindle's in second.
Sorry, that's a second faster than Hindle.
Yeah, and Hindle's just gone through sector 1, but he's on a slow one now. Hybrid Nuke, he's currently in third place on the medium tyre, done a sector 1 of a 29.8. It's not going to be overly lightning fast, that, but the delta time between the primes and the options is quite big. I tell you what, Ray, do you want to just have a look at what it does say the delta time is between the medium tyre and the soft tyre?
Yes, I will do. And Front Row Racing GP's out in intermediates again. The prime tyres are nearly a second slower.
Yeah, so they are quite a lot slower around here. Now, viewers, you're going to be sitting there going, what is he doing on a set of intermediate tyres? Well, you know what? After he did it last week, I did talk to him. I found out what it was, and I ain't going to tell you, okay? But Front Row Racing GP is out on track on a set of intermediate tyres, and seeing as he's on track and he's on the inters, we'll get his comments out of the way. I'm guessing you've had a look at his comments this week, Ray?
No, I haven't.
Go ahead, have a quick look at GP's. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I said I'll deal with this one. Are you ready for this, folks? GP is a pain in the backside at times and has been sending more and more difficult comments. So here we go. Bear with me. Ini Adala Satu Litar Yalanak Yang Menarik Satu Yang Sesuai Dengan Memandu Style Membosangkan Perlahan Saya Mangin, akan Belanggar. Yeah.
What does that say? He's a villain.
No. It's tempted to say that, but no. He's gone. He's found his new favourite toy, hasn't he? Google Translate. So I'll translate it for you. But the funny thing is, it's going to backfire on him a little bit, because when you type something in English and translate it, it will give you a phrase. If you then translate it back, it doesn't come back quite so right. So here we go. This is an exciting street circuit, one that suits my driving slowly, boring style, may collide. So there you go, that's from our Racing GP's comments. As Acorn95 has put himself 6th place, and when I caught up with Acorn earlier on today, he didn't want to talk to us. He ran off. He was not interested, so we haven't got a comment from him at the moment. So, Rickster in first place, Hindle in second place, Dave the Harps improved on his lap time, he's got himself up to second, and he's just quickly letting a car go through there. Let's see if we can find out who else is out on track. Caseley's coming back to the pits, getting rid of a set of medium tyres. Andy Russell, his session is over, and 69 is in the garage, and Front Row Racing GP is still going round on the intermediate tyres. And 4600 is on an out lap, so is Front Row Racing NW, and Azamore, he's on an out lap, in as a reserve driver for Richie Davey. And when I caught up with him earlier today, and I asked him, you got any pre-race comments for us, fella? He says yes. Get recording right this time, keep wings on, and score some nice points for Sauber. Short, sweet, to the point, knows what he needs to do. So as he's warming up his set of option tyres here, getting himself ready to start a lap, we will see if anybody is about to pump one in. Hybrid Nuke is now back out of the pits on a set of option tyres. So Ray, if you want to keep an... let's see, where is he in compared to Azamort? Okay, Hybrid Nuke is further ahead. So Ray, if you want to keep an eye on Azamort for us, as Hybrid Nuke is about to start his flying lap, and we'll come over to Azamort in a few moments time. So as Hybrid Nuke then starts his first flying lap on the option tyres, see if he uses a bit of the excess part of the track here. Not as much as you can use. You can open up turn 1 quite nicely by using a little bit of the yellow painted area. Smoothly-ish through turns 1, 2 and 3. Now heading up to turn 5. Turn 4 is a kink that we won't really mention. So as he's now heading into the DRS zone, when I caught up with Hybrid Nuke earlier today, asking him what his thoughts were about the Singapore Grand Prix, he said, feel alright around here, just hope I can keep my concentration and avoid penalties, need to get some points back. I think the boy is focused on this race, knows that he needs to finish ahead of his teammate. He can't let his teammate take too much of a gap into the last few races. Now Hybrid Nuke's done a 28.8 sector 1, not too bad. What's Azamort done there, Ray?
A 29.6.
So a bit of a gap between them, but that's expected sometimes with a reserve driver. So as Hybrid Nuke's now working his way through sector 2, come to the end of it just about now. 38.2 sector 2 time for him. The rear end is looking a little bit loose on his Williams here though, as he's trying to push it to get the lap in. Now to the tricky section, coming up to the tunnel of doom, as Ray likes to call it, and if a guy crashes in there on the opening laps of this race, it could cause absolute mayhem. Only 3 corners to go now for Hybrid Nuke. Flat out pushing it hard, rear wanting to step out into the penultimate, into the final. DRS will be open. It's a 41.5, it's only second place. So how's Asimov?
Just coming round the last corner, and he's going to do a 145, but I think it's been invalidated.
You're right, I think it has been invalidated there. So Asimov will have time to tap or get it into the pits and get a new set of tyres on. I think Hindle is back out on track. He's on an outlap. He's actually right behind his teammate. So he's come out of the pits and is now right behind his teammate on track. I wonder if we'll see any Nico Rosberg dirty Monaco tactics from last season between the two of those. Caseley's in the garage. Acorn's on an outlap. Andy Russell still going round. Dave the Harp, he's on an outlap. So a few of the drivers at that point now where they are setting themselves up for another run from our Racing GP has now gone onto the option tyre. From our Racing NW, he's on an outlap as well, also now on the option tyre. So the times could start tumbling over the next 4 minutes or so. So let's see, Rickster, he's just come out of the pits as well, so let's see who we can find. Hybrid Nuke, I've got a feeling he's going to be... Oh, Hindle is in a barrier on an outlap.
Is he?
Yeah, he's turned 14. I've just seen him. He was stationary with his nose in the barrier. I don't know if he's got damage on the car. I wonder if he's going to just go straight into another flying lap, or think, these tyres may have a little bit of a flat spot on them now. Either way, on a warm-up lap, it's not something you want to experience, because it can affect you on your hot lap when you get down to that corner. He is going for another flying lap here. We'll see if he uses a bit of the painted area. Yep, there we go. It does help open up turn 1 and 2 quite nicely. And when I caught up with Hindle earlier on today, he said, me and Hybrid have hidden our pace from each other, so should be interesting. He also thinks I'm under pressure now. I've got a points gap, but is the pressure actually on him? Feeling confident around here. So Hindle thinks the pressure is on his teammate, as he does a sector 1 time of a 28.7. I'm a little surprised at the sector 1 times here. I was expecting low 28s, to be honest. We'll see what sector 2 and sector 3 is going to be like. Maybe... Go on, Ray, what have you got for us?
No, I was muting the mic in case you heard the message shout.
All right, there, you're all right there. That's wonderful. That it's having a mute button for the partner. It just doesn't work for you there, Ray. Unfortunately, sorry, Kirsty. Okay, we'll see how Hindle gets on through sector 2. Looking a little bit smoother than his teammate was, but we're yet to get to the really trickier section. Smoother on the throttle, rear end's not stepping out as much as his teammates was. A 38.1 sector 2. That's actually off pace a little bit, and he knows it. He knows it. I think he has. He's abandoned this lap. He hasn't got enough time to get into the pits to go for another flyer, but he has got enough time to go for another flyer. Rickster, though, he's already on one. A sector 1 time, though, of a 29.1. I wonder if he's... I wonder if the temperature... Yeah, he is slow. I'm wondering if the temperature's dropped to a point now where the drivers are going to struggle for grip. I mean, track temperature's 24 degrees. Sorry, was that what you was going to mention?
Rickster's lost it. Rickster's lost it. He's
You're
gone
right.
back and forth on
the Esplanade Bridge, I think that might be. Yeah, he's got going again now, but that's pretty much going to be his... potentially his session over. Hindle has gone for another flying lap. It's a 28.6 sector 1. It's a little better than what he did on the previous lap, but it's still not absolutely lightning. Dave the Harp's got himself into 4th place. Hybrid Nuke's session, I think, might be over. Dave the Harp's Sector 1's a 29.2. Again, not lightning Sector 1 times we're seeing here. A 38.5, Sector 2. K-Slay's session is over. Acorn's about to cross the line, but it's been a very, very slow lap. He'll be able to get one more in. Andy Russell's had a puncture. His session's over. Azamore, his session's over. Adam 4600... just starting a flying lap. From Row Racing GP in 11th place, he's also on a flying lap. 29.1, 38.6. Got enough time to get to the end and do another flying lap if necessary. Rickster has gone for another flying lap, so in 30 seconds when we get kicked out of the pit lane here, we're not going to be able to see anyone's sector times, and it's not going to be easy to keep up on what position changes might come around. Rickster's slower, Sector 1, time to abandon that lap. Hindle coming around the final corner now, across the line, can he improve? It's a 41.0, it's only 2nd place. Dave the Harp, he's going to get another lap in if he decides to complete it. Acorn 95, he's still going for another one, but it's a slow Sector 1. Adam 4600, he's on another flyer, slow Sector 1 again, and there we go. Time for us to use the broadcast views from a Racing GP. Where is he? He's got himself up to 4th place with the lap he's just put in, so last gasp effort. That puts Dave the Harp down to 5th place. Acorn 95, he's out of fuel. Adam 4600, he's into the final sector now. He's currently in at 10th place. Have we got anyone else that's out there to complete a lap, Ray?
Just Dave the Harp, Adam 4600, and GP.
Okay, so I think Adam's going to be the first of them to cross the line. I think he may have just gone a little bit too far over the circuit, though, perhaps an invalidation. But he's in 10th place. Can he improve on it if it hasn't invalidated it? Across the line? No, it's 10th place for him. From a Racing GP then, he's currently sitting in 4th place. And whereabouts is Dave Harp on the track? He's going through the Tunnel of Doom.
Yeah.
So it's a battle then between 4th and 5th to see what positions they're going to be starting the race. Dave's abandoning it. His lap is over. He's got nothing left. From a Racing GP coming through the Tunnel of Doom.
He's gave up.
Yeah, he's abandoned it.
Oh, he's no fuel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's out of fuel there. So that'll be it then. Qualifying session over. Now, I do know there's a few drivers whose comments we haven't got round to yet. Now, I'll quickly go through those. Adam 4600 said, hopefully I don't lose the front wing. Not especially confident here, though. You've just cursed yourself. Ant 69, I still can't finish this track. So as Shane Ward once said, that's my goal. I'm guessing he sang a song, something about that. I'm not into it, to be honest. Let's see who else was there. K-Slay, not expecting much, just hoping to make the Spaniards proud. Ray's now thinking, what are you on about? Well, look at his flag. He hasn't chosen to be a Spaniard. The game randomly turned him into a Spaniard, and I don't think he's worked out how to change it back yet. But interestingly, he qualified on the prime tyre and is going to be starting the race in 6th place. Bit off the pace from the cars ahead, could be a bit of a cork in the bottle. So Rickster takes pole position in Singapore once again. From a Racing NW is going to be starting behind myself and you, Ray. But that's an interesting statement from Rickster there. Maybe it was the early set part of the session that allowed him to get that lap in, because as the session went on, the lap times were not coming down, were they?
Nah, they were getting down, but they just couldn't get them that not as much.
True, and with the temperatures dropping as they were, it can make what tyre pressures you have on your car very, very important. It could also have an effect on what kind of strategy the drivers go for in the race here. Now, I tell you what, before the race gets going, I'm going to do the question of the day right now as we have a look at the drivers forming their grid. Now, they've been a bit cryptic lately, Ray, so here we go. I was going to tell a whole story about it, but I won't. This is from around the 2006 era that I did a certain something. I wanted to have a look at what the definition of a number was. So I looked in the dictionary. So, we're here for a 31 lap race. So, the question of the day is this. In the Oxford English Dictionary, what do you think is the definition of the number 31?
Don't know, I don't have a dictionary because I'm Scottish, we don't have one.
Well, I'll pop that question up a little later on as well. We've got 5 seconds to go, Ray, so predictions.
I think Mixter will take it.
I think he's got a very, very good chance. Okay, we're on 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Away they go, heading down now into turn 1, where hopefully they'll all get around the first corner nice and clean. It can be tricky, it can be difficult down there. We won't know if anything has really happened until we get on board with someone, but at the moment it looks like they've all managed to just about get around the corners quite nicely, but it's going to continue on now into turns 5 and 6 and 7. Turn 7's a very, very difficult one. Oh, we've got a Red Bull clipping the barrier. It's going to give cars behind the opportunity to overtake, and they're trying to take it. Casely's up to 6th. His teammates dropped down, trying to fight now for 7th and 8th place. Casely's gone deep. He's gone very, very deep. That's GP now, trying to fight his way back up to 6th place. Acorn's in 5th. So from a Racing GP, he's lost out at the start. But let's see how Rickster's getting on. Up at the front. Is he still leading? Yes, he is. So we've got McLaren Honda, or should I say Charles McLaren Honda, leading the first lap of the race here in Singapore. Then Hindle in 2nd place, Hybrid Nuke in 3rd. Andy Russell, where have you come from? All the way up to 4th place. I'm wondering if that may have been a bit of a jump start there, because I'm fairly sure he was quite a bit further down the order, but he's up to 4th place. Acorn 95 is now in 5th. Where's Dave the Harp? Because from a Racing GP's in 6th. So something's...
he's down in 10. And Casey's get front wing damage.
Oh dear.
He'll be struggling.
He will be struggling. The only choice Casely has got is to get it into the pits at the end of this lap. The benefit for him, though, is have a look at what tyre compound he's on. He's on the prime tyre. If he goes and bangs on sets of options now, he can run options all the way to the end of this race. Whether the tyres will last or not is a different question. But it gives him that possibility.
Nightwalker's got no front wing.
Oh dear, so 2 cars with wing damage, and you're right, Nightwalker has got no front wing, so not exactly sure of what happened there at the start of the race, but something definitely did with 2 cars with damage, 1 car definitely way out of position. Turn 5, there's wing.
Move on. Andy Russell, they're close, 4th and 5th place. Is he going to get it coming down into the...
He is going to go for it. He's got it done. It's a nice move. Andy Russell giving him the space on the apex, and now it's going to get very, very tight and very, very narrow for these drivers. I think, you know, Ray, there may have been a little bit of an incident on the exit of turn 5. There is a bit of a front wing in the barrier there. And I'm wondering whether perhaps Casely perhaps lost a bit of wing there, and when he got down to turn 7,
Nightwalkers, maybe.
It could be, yes. If it's got a bit of black on it, it might be, yeah. But Acorn, he's now up to 4th place with Andy Russell behind him. Do you want to have a quick look at what tyres Casely went for?
Yes, I will do.
Okay, so Rickster...
He's on the options.
He has gone options then. Okay, Rickster still leading this race. Not a big gap between himself and Hindle. Less than 2 tenths in it, with Hybrid Nuke beginning to drop off a little bit now, but that could all just be about saving a bit of fuel, as the guys up at the front are really trying to push it hard now. So the end of lap 2, Rickster posts a new fastest lap of 144.287. Pretty good pace that. So what have we got for a Racing GP trying to catch up to Andy Russell? Azamore, he's in 7th place.
He was close, but just coming round that final corner, he had too quick a drive that he had to back out, and that gave Andy Russell the space. As he's getting closer now, is he going to get it with the DRS?
Well, that's it. DRS is now available for the drivers, but on a track where you're running very high downforce, the DRS is not. It's surprisingly not that powerful around this track. You have to have a really good run in the exit of the corners. GP's got a good run here. Lost the rear a little bit. He's going to get the undercut. He has. Andy Russell's ran wide. That's Fronto Racing GP up to 5th place now then. And that means his next target is Acorn 95. Just want to have a look at where Dave the Harp is. He's down in 9th place, 15 seconds off the lead. And he's in a bit of a Underdog Racing Red Bull sandwich at the moment. Not the kind of sandwich you really want to be in.
And it's really close to Rickster up at front here.
You're right, he is.
Seen an overtaking, maybe DRS zone or maybe just after turn 3. Oh, he's reaching the wall.
Well, it is easier to overtake here in the DRS zones than it is anywhere else on the track. But if you do find it difficult to overtake in the DRS zones, one of the things the drivers can do is do what Fronto Racing GP did there. Make a bit of a dummy move at one corner, get the driver out of position, and if they are, they will lose a lot more time. It can be hugely beneficial to go for an overtake in that way. But Hindle is close enough for DRS. But now we also need to start thinking a little bit about tyres, Ray. I mean, we may have a little bit of rain coming later on, but the tyres, I mean, I'm guessing you don't really know just how long these tyres will last.
I reckon about 8 laps. Is it less?
Well, 8 laps, they can do it. They can do it. A brand new set of option tyres, they'll do 9, maybe 10, but you're looking at potential punctures anywhere after that, especially if you are scrubbing walls a little bit, and that's something that the drivers will have to watch out about. If they are clipping barriers a little bit or screeching up against the walls, they can get punctures. But with these guys having done qualifying laps on these tyres, we could see them pitting anywhere as early as lap 6. An undercut around here is also very, very big. So for someone like Hindle at the moment, who's behind Rickster, can't find a way past just yet, the undercut could be a tool that he will use to his advantage.
Yeah, and I'm just watching Dave the Harp. He's up into 8th place. He's got Ant 69 behind him and Azamot in front of him, so I'll keep a wee eye on him and see if he's pushing or...
Well, he has gained a place over Ant 69, so he is trying to make some end roads or some gains in this. Acorn, he's 7 seconds off the lead at the moment, in 4th place, with Fronto Racing GP beginning to catch up to him. K-Slay is in 11th, he's 47 seconds off the lead, and if there's ever a race where you don't want to lose your front wing near the start of the race, it's this one. It's such a long, horrible lap around here.
Well, I think we'll have an overtake soon with Dave the Harp and Azamot as we come round the final corner down the start-finish straight, and Dave the Harp's got it.
So DRS available for Dave the Harp then, so that helps get him past Azamot and up into 7th place. But Azamot, he's now going to get DRS on Dave the Harp down the next straight, if he can keep it in shape and close enough into turn 5. It looks like he's just about managed to do it, as we see Andy Russell there in 6th place. Azamot's coming under a little bit of pressure now from Ant69 in 9th place, who's having a little bit of a cheeky look, but can't quite get close enough to make a move. So a few little battles going on down the field here.
The Azamot, the chicane just after the tunnel of doom, Azamot went a wee bit deep, and that's what gave Dave the Harp the chance to get up, and they timed it well with the power in that to get just a straight pass him.
Yeah,
turns. Here comes Ant. Oh no, he's not. He backed out of it. He was right beside Azamot, and then he backed out of it.
So, do you think Ant's looking a little bit confident here then, after showing or commenting that he was lacking a bit of confidence around this track? He's now catching Azamot and may even have the opportunity to overtake. Perhaps he'll want Azamot to struggle in turns 20 and 21 like he did when Dave managed to get past. So we're coming up to the Tunnel of Doom now, so it's not this chicane that Ray mentioned, it's the next one coming up. And it is a chicane that many people don't like. The benefit is to brake early here rather than take it a little too quick, and you run deep, you're slow. Dave Harp's going for the pits, Azamot going for the pits, Ant69 continues on.
Oh no, Azamot spun it in the pit lane.
Oh no, So for Asamoah then, he's going to lose time. I'm looking now at Rickster and Hindle. Hindle's got a good run on the DRS, but not quick enough to go for an overtake. You keep an eye on those cars in the pit lane, Ray, can let us know what tyres they go for. But Hindle and Rickster still battling it out here. I said around about lap 6. It looks like actually the end of lap 5, those drivers have decided to get rid of their soft tyres. And one thing they will get is the benefit of an undercut. But go on, Ray, have you got any info for us from down there?
Nah, I need to wait to see if the glitch, it's a glitch, yeah. I thought Asamoah got the jump on Dave the Harp, he didn't. Asamoah's on options, Dave the Harp's on primes, and GP was on the pits, and he's on the primes too.
Okay, not a bad idea to go for the prime tyres for the first stop of the race. The temperatures are just going to drop and drop and drop, and the prime tyres will find it more difficult towards the end of the race. Now, just a bit of info for the viewers and the drivers when they watch this back. I have messaged Codemasters about the pit lane glitches that we've been seeing recently. I am waiting for a response. If I get one, I'll let you know. Lately, quite a few things that I have messaged them about. Hindle going for the pit lane. Hindle, he's into the pit. Excuse me. Oh, got a little bit too excited there. I nearly choked on my own words. So Hindle into the pits then, and he's gone for another set of option tyres by the looks of things. He's going for the undercut on Rickster. He could find himself leading this race. Acorn, he's gone for the pits. He's also gone for a set of option tyres. Andy Russell.
Got Dave the Harp and Casey together, coming through the tunnel of doom at the moment. And Casey's on the option tyres where Dave the Harp's on the primes.
Yep, the only other difference is that Casey has been on these option tyres since the end of lap 1. They'll be good for another 2 or 3 laps, and then the prime tyres on Dave the Harp's car are going to come up to temperature and be potentially faster. Okay, I just want to have a look. Acorn, he did pit, so I believe Rickster's still leading this race. So we'll have a quick look at the running order. Rickster is still leading. Hybrid Nuke is now only 3.5 seconds behind the leader. Time for him to really get his foot down. Hindle, he's come out in 3rd place. We'll have to wait for him to go through the second sector to see what that gap is. It says 6 seconds at the moment, but obviously it isn't. That's... we have to wait for it to update at the end of the next straight. I'm going to guess it's going to be about 20 seconds, actually. It's going to be about 20 seconds. Okay, it's 26.0. So, is Rickster going for the pits? Yes, he is. Rickster then is in the pit lane. Time for Hindle to see if he can gain enough. Ray, do you want to have a look, see whether the other Williams has gone for the pit lane as well? Hybrid Nuke.
He's went straight on.
So Hybrid Nuke continuing on, going a little bit longer then. I'm trying to remember as well, Hindle, he's on the option tyres here, so not yet ran the prime tyre. But one thing he might have been thinking about is, if rain is coming, there's nothing wrong with a driver going option, 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 and if need be, primes at the very end of the race. And if the rain doesn't come, you don't have to use the prime tyre. Now it looks like Hindle has got the jump on Rickster. He has, and he's got a bit of a gap as well. I said the undercut will have a big effect here, and it has. You can see the gap that Hindle has pulled out on Rickster, but Rickster now has tyres that are a couple of laps fresher. Time to get your foot down, fella. Okay, who's leading the race? It's Hybrid Nuke. And 69, he's currently riding in 4th place at the moment, still running his option tyres that he's not got rid of yet. But Acorn 95, he's in 5th place. He's now got Front Row Racing GP all over the back of him, with Front Row Racing GP also making a bit of a use of an undercut there. Ray, have we got any more news on the battle between Dave the Harp and Casey a little further down the grid?
It's still balancing out. They're close, but Dave the Harp's getting the traction out the corners, but you would think that Casey would have been getting it with his option tyres, but I think Casey, if he's not pitted, should be in the pits this lap.
Quite possibly. It depends on what he's changing his strategy to. Acorn so much faster than Ant 69 here, out of the hairpin, and realising he's not in this battle, gifts the positions away. So that's Acorn up to 4th, from a Racing GP up to 5th. I would expect we've had Hybrid Nuke into the pits. Yes, he is, and I think he's had a bit of a poor entry there. I've got a feeling he's going to have lost a lot of time on Hindle and Rickster. Where is Rickster? He must have had a no, he's on the prime tyre. Rickster's losing out now even more to Hindle. He can still see him, but he's using the prime tyre now to get it out of the way. So the question will be, where is Hybrid Nuke? Hybrid Nuke is just exiting the pit lane now, so he's got a set of prime tyres on as well, so he's potentially going to be losing out. Acorn 95 just coming through into turn 3, not too far away off Hindle, so 4th and 5th could start catching up to Rickster and Hybrid Nuke in 2nd and 3rd place. Andy Russell, he's in 6th place, just coming round turn 3 now, with Dave the Harp coming round turn 3 now on his prime tyres, and still with K-Slay right behind him. I think K-Slay is going to want to take his set of options to at least lap 10 if he can.
He's already pitted, he's had one stop.
Yeah, he did at the end of the first lap, Ray. He started on prime tyres, had a damaged front wing, had to pit for the damage, put options on, so I think he'll pit at the end of lap 10, because that'll be 9 laps on the option tyre. So I think we'll be seeing K-Slay pit a little in the next lap. Like I said, his only upside to the early pit stop was that he got rid of the prime tyre, but he's now going to have to try and go sort of 10-10-10 on his pit stops to try and make it work for him in any way, shape or form. Azamor is in 9th, quite a way behind 8th place at the moment, and 69 in 10th, not too far away from Azamor. Adam 4600 on the prime tyres in 11th, with From a Racing NW in 12th, not that far behind Adam 4600. We could see that battle begin to brew as the laps drop down. Okay, Hindle, lap 10, he started it, and he's leading the race where he wants to be. Rickster only just getting into turn 1 now. He's 5 seconds off the lead, and he's going to be losing around about a second a lap, if not more, on these prime tyres. What would you do if you were Rickster, Ray, at this point? If you know the option tyres could go 10 laps, and there is now effectively 22 laps of the race left, would you run the prime tyres long, or would you do a very, very short stint on them?
I'd do a short stint on them. If they lose so much time per lap, then I'd do a short stint, and was it a 3-stop race we're looking at anyway, so...
Yep. I mean, it's interesting you say that. Should I tell people what my strategy would have been for a dry race yesterday?
Put full wets on in the dry track.
No, that wasn't part of the plan. K-Slay has pitted. He's gone for another set of option tyres. So I was just having a look to see if he was going to be doing that. Okay, Hybrid Nuke in 3rd place, 10.5 seconds off the lead, which means he's about 5 seconds behind Rickster. Make that, yeah, about 5 seconds behind Rickster. Rickster really needs to try and keep this gap up, but this is the situation that was sort of going through my mind while I was trying to work out what strategy to do around this track. You start on the option tyres because you qualify on them. If you go long on that first stint, you get undercut, you lose time. If that driver goes option tyres on their first stop, they're going to undercut you a second time. And it's going to continue on throughout the race that way, as From a Racing NW makes his pit stop, puts on a set of prime tyres. Yeah, you're going to continuously get undercut throughout the race. But if you run the option tyres at the start of the race and go to, say, lap 7 or 8 and put the prime tyre on, if anybody else puts options on, they're still going to undercut you because their options are going to run out before your prime. So this is what I was going to do. I was going to do an early stop on the option tyres around about the end of lap 5, maybe 6. Put the prime tyre on, so I get the undercut. Put the prime tyre on, take them to lap 13. I get another undercut, and then do option to the end of the race, gaining on average about 6-7 seconds from doing the undercuts, and then the benefit of being on option tyres when other drivers are on primes would have given extra time. That's the strategy I would have gone for. So if I was Rickster, Hybrid Nuke, anybody else on a set of prime tyres at the moment, I wouldn't be taking them very long. But what some of the drivers might be thinking is, if I stay on these prime tyres, I can take them quite long and only do one more stop, whereas other people are going to have to do two. They're then going to lose about 26 seconds making a pit stop. It gets very interesting. So Singapore, not only is it horrible in the wet, it's horrible on the mind for working out strategies.
Yeah, and USS Sylvester, he typed in the same like you said on the second one, he could take the primes till the end of the race for Rickster, but don't let the gap get big and 15 to 20 seconds long. Well,
yep.
Maybe not to the end, but...
I don't think Rickster would be able to take the prime tyres to the end, because it would be... It's a lot of laps. I mean, you're talking 20, 22, 23 laps. It may be doable, but it would be horrible. But he could put another set of prime tyres on and take those to the end. Okay, while we've got a little bit of a lull here as 8th, 9th and 10th begin to get a little closer together as Casely is finding his pace now on the option tyres, I'm going to remind everybody of the question of the day. And you know what, as Azamorti's bound to make a pit stop, I'll tell you what the story was, right? It would have been around about 2006. I was at work, I was bored, and I thought, I know, I'll look up the definition of some words in the dictionary. And obviously I went for the rude ones to see what it'd say. And then it occurred to me, I wonder what the definition is of a number. So I went and had a look. And it surprised me, and it took me on a journey for about half an hour, which had a really disappointing end, to be honest. So yeah, the question of the day is this. From around about the 2006 era, in the Oxford English Dictionary, what do you think the definition of the number 31 was? So come on, Ray, see if you can give us an answer in Scottish.
Not got a clue.
Well, I will give the answer before the end of the race. Okay.
And as you were talking about that, you've got Casely catching it. Annette's hit the wall, he's touched it with his tyres. That's gave Casely more room up behind him. Well, close that gap, sorry. I'll rephrase that, Scottish words. Back to front, coming out.
Oh, is Casely going to go around the outside? No. Oh, that was close to the barrier. I think he caught himself out a little bit there. He's definitely got the speed over Ant. Just needs to find the right place to make it work for the pass. And that is one of the things around this track. Even if you have got the pace over another driver, it isn't easy to overtake. But it can be done. I reckon potential DRS. No, I don't think he's going to be close enough to attack into turn one with DRS. But Ray, do you just want to have a quick flick through the order, see if anyone up at the front has made an additional stop or anything like that? As Casely will be using DRS now to close the gap. Needs a good turn 1, 2 and 3 to have a really good run down into turn 7. Now you might wonder why I called turn 5 turn 5, but that's because this king here is turn 4 and now this is turn 5. But go on, Ray, what have you got for us?
It's all pretty much spaced out, but Frontline Racing GP seems to be catching Acorn 95. He's still a bit behind.
What tyres?
Acorn's on options and GP's on the prime, so maybe it's a switchover phase with these primes coming in. I don't know how long Acorn's been on the options.
I think Acorn... Oh, Casely, he's going for the move. He's going for the move up towards turn 10. He's already ahead. And 69 realising perhaps not a fight he was going to win there. So, yes, defending, but realising once he's up the inside, not making it too hard for him. Ant's got an interesting line into the turn 13 hairpin here, and it's something that a few of the drivers may want to bear in mind for future events. Take a line into that turn 13 hairpin that keeps you up against the barrier on the right, makes the hairpin a lot easier. But that's K-Slate up now into 8th place. And he said Flora Racing GP was beginning to catch up to Acorn. Well, Acorn is 18.5 seconds off the lead at the moment, and I think Flora Racing GP...
Pitted.
GP has pitted. And when was that he pitted?
He's just coming out.
Yeah, but it's at the end of lap 13.
Alright, yeah, okay.
So, GP's made his stop then. He's come out, let's see, just behind Dave the Harp, who is running prime tyres, and Flora Racing GP now on the option tyre. Let's see how the guys up at the front are getting on quickly. Hindle still leading this race. I've not seen any new fastest laps popping up as of late, so perhaps the drivers just settling themselves in. Rickster, he's 5.9 seconds behind. He's been closing that gap up a little bit, so it is possible, as Ray said about Acorn, the option tyres are beginning to go off for the drivers that have got those tyres on, because Rickster looks like he's been closing that gap. And you know what, a 6-second gap is not that big of a gap considering he's on the prime tyre, but it's how long he's going to be on them for. Because if Hindle makes another stop very soon, it's just come down to 5.4. The gap is definitely closing. Hybrid Nukes 10.3, 10-point closing.
Oh, Acorn had a wee messy into the pits, just a little bit messy. And he's gone options again.
Oh, I've just seen Andy Russell clip the barrier. He's lost a bit of his wing. He's had to make a late call to make a pit stop there. Didn't really have much choice about that one. Oh, he's into the barrier. Oh, that could be race over. I've seen that happen to drivers before. Into the barrier there and destroy the car.
Reset him on the track.
Yeah, he's gone for it looks like he may have gone for a reset to track there, and it's put him back on the race circuit as we have a close-up of a Red Bull engineer's beard. An interesting camera angle there. The pit lane camera crew not sure what to do, but that's massively unfortunate for Andy Russell. Clips a barrier, loses a bit of the wing, ends up going for the pit lane, can't make the corner. Andy Russell's race is now over. Huge disappointment for him there, as Flora Racing GP is now all over the back of Acorn 95. I think Dave the Hart may have made a pit stop. But yeah, I mean, Acorn
still on the primes. GP's flying.
No, Flora Racing GP's on the option tyres. Flora Racing GP recently made a pit stop, got rid of the prime tyres. Oh, sorry, Dave Hart, is he still on the primes?
Yes.
Okay, my apologies there. That's right, it's Acorn 95. Yeah, he must have made a pit stop recently because he's now... I'm trying to think. Yes, he must have made a stop. Because did he not put the prime tyre on?
Hindle in the pits.
So the race leader has pitted then. Keep an eye on what tyres he goes for, Ray. Because 4th and 5th, again, very close here. As they both look like they lock it up a little bit in Sector 2. The horrible, tight, twisty turns 16 and 17. Now into the Tunnel of Doom. I mean, it was huge disappointment there for Andy Russell. He was fairly well positioned in the race.
Prime tyres for Hindle.
Okay, so Hindle's gone for the prime tyres now, but again, he's going to get an undercut on Rickster. Rickster's now on warm prime tyres. Rickster really needs to get in the pits and get a set of option tyres on. To be honest, if he wants any chance of winning this race, he needs to be on the option tyres. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to do it, I don't think. Flora Racing GP should be close enough for DRS here. He is. Is he going to be able to attack as Acorn sideways out of turn 5 using the slipstream? DRS is open. Acorn going defensive and then switching to the racing line as GP goes up the inside. Can he make the move stick? Side by side now into one of the corners. That's really horrible to go side by side, and GP knows that. He's going for the switchback to put him into position for turn 9, but can't quite get the undercut done. Nice bit of racing from the two of them there. Oh, very close into the braking zones. interesting little battle. Okay, Ray, have we got any movement on Rickster or Hybrid Nuke in second or third place?
Not yet. Nothing as of yet. Rickster's just gone in the pits now.
Okay, so Rickster realising then it's time to pit. He's been on those tyres for only about 7 or 8 laps. He will be able to run options to the end, and he's going to need to make...
He got held. Adam 4600 came out the pits and it held Rickster in the pit lane.
So a bit of a time loss for Rickster then. Doesn't want to be penalised for an unsafe release, although you can't really get penalised for an unsafe release on this. Acorn and GP still going at it here. DRS is going to be available again. So where has Rickster come out then, Ray? What position is he in? I'm guessing third place.
Third. Yeah.
Okay, so Hybrid Nuke will be leading the race, not having made his second stop just yet, but I think it will be coming soon. But he is on the prime tyre, I believe, so I don't know whether he's going to mix the strategy and try going long on those, but I can't really see it working. Is again Acorn a little bit sideways out of turn 5. DRS available again for the Ferrari, but not close enough to go for the move. Acorn defending once again, and GP not able to attack. Okay, Rickster has gone for the option tyres, and he's really got to get a shift on now if he wants to try catching Hindle. It says that Hindle is 15 seconds behind the current race leader, Hybrid Nuke, who I believe may have 2 stops still to do. So 14.3 seconds now. I'd like to see how far Rickster is, 20 seconds, so there's still a 6-second gap between Rickster and Hindle, but Rickster has really got to put in qualifying style laps now to try and pull that gap back in. Hybrid Nuke not pitting yet.
Still going.
He is. Do you reckon he's going to try and take these prime tyres as long as they'll go? Perhaps even see if he can do a 2-stop here, perhaps, and... I mean, well, let's see. I mean, you know what? If he can get to sort of lap 21, 22, he may be able to go for a 2-stop strategy using option tyres at the end. Ooh, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. The problem is, his teammate Hindle in second place is catching him at a vast rate of knots on the same prime tyre, just much, much fresher. Rickster 2 is closing that gap in. Go on, what do you got for us?
Front row racing GP and Econ 95. Battle's still going. GP's a lot closer coming with the DRS. He's right there.
Acorn! You can't go switching sides of the track like that, my friend. If you make a defensive move, make one of them, not multiple. You've just destroyed another guy's race. Oh my days. I tell you what, GP is not going to be happy about that one. Now, okay... the stewards will have a look at that one, but you can't go moving multiple times when defending a position. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. Oh my days. I tell you what, viewers, I'll let you make your comments about that one. Okay, so let's have another look at the battle up at the front. Hindle, he is closing ridiculously fast on his teammate Hybrid Nuke, who is continuing on for another lap. He's got to be taking this for a 2-stop strategy here. See the gap now down to 10.8 seconds to Hindle. Rickster, he's brought it down to 15.2, so Rickster is closing up on second place. Hybrid Nuke, but not enough at the moment. It needs to keep pushing. You've both got another stop to make, and chances are Hindle's going to be on the option tyres at the end of the race. And Dave the Harp's now up to 5th place. Acorn's in 4th, 28 seconds off the lead. Dave the Harp's 1 minute 6 off the lead, so a big gap there. K-Slave running option tyres is about 10 seconds behind Dave the Harp. Azamor He's about another 10 seconds behind Casely at the moment, and 69, and about another 10 seconds behind. So we've got spacing of about 10 seconds until we get to Adam 4600. But we've got Front Row Racing NW. It says he's here in 11th place because he needs to pass the stricken car of Front Row Racing GP. Okay, Hybrid Nuke coming into the final sector. Is he going to be going for the pit lane? I'm not so sure, not yet. You got any news for us, Ray?
Yeah, I got a message from Front Row Racing GP, but I can't repeat it.
Yep, I thought that might be the case. I tell you what, GP, as Hybrid Nuke goes for the pit lane, he's got 11 laps. 11 and a bit laps to go as the car's sideways into the pit lane, but his teammate about to retake the lead of this race. Keep an eye on what tyres he goes for. But yeah, GP, if you could let us know whether it was multiple moves while defending that.
It said that in a way.
Yeah, okay, I thought it might be. I tell you what though, Rickster.
Hybrid on options.
So Hybrid Nuke is going to try the two-stop to the end of the race. Rickster is closing in on Hindle, the race leader. The gap is down to 2.6 seconds. I guess the question now will be whether Hindle is going to perhaps try and take his prime tyres to the end of the race, but I'm not so sure. It may be doable, but the lap times will be horribly slow. His only upside will be that Rickster's going to have to make another pit stop in about 2 or 3 laps' time. Oh, this could get interesting. Rickster needs to catch up, overtake, pull a gap, get in the pits, and catch up again. Yeah.
That'll be interesting. My brain's just no coping trying to work out what he could do.
It's never easy as a driver trying to work out what... I mean, for Rickster in this situation, knowing that he's caught the guy up this quick, he'll know that the leader's on the prime tyre now, but it will be going through his mind. Okay, is he going for a... Is he going to have to stop again? Because his teammate's just done quite a long stint on the prime tyre.
Yeah, I need to get the pencils out like Ted Kravitz and start working about with the pencils.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I must admit, I spend quite a lot of time working out many different potential strategies. And I wouldn't advise that every driver does that, but what I would advise the drivers do is you say, right, okay, you work out what strategy you want to use for the race, taking into account many different possibilities. Then you work out, okay, what strategy am I going to do if I have to pit in the first few laps? It's always better to know what you're going to do if that happens than have to work it out. So for someone like Casely, for example, starting on the prime tyre, he would have known if anything happens, he can pit options all the way to the end. But he hopefully will have already have worked out at what point he'll need to make those stops. And it's so much more useful being able to do that. As Rickster closing up so much in the braking zones on Hindle here. Rickster may have an opportunity into a braking zone, perhaps down into turn 14, but it can be a risky one because if you lock it up, you are going to end up involved in a crash. I'll tell you what, Ray, can you do me a favour? Can you just have a look at how far back Hybrid Nuke is? Because he's not out 18 seconds. Okay, he's not out of this race yet. These guys may have to pit again. Now, Hindle, he's feeling the pressure, I think, here. He's got Rickster all over the back of him, but you know what? Rickster could potentially pit now and go for another undercut. He's not, though. He's going to try and get ahead first by the looks of things. He's going to have DRS down into turn 1. Hindle going defensive, having any of his slipstream. But the braking abilities are so different on the different tyres.
As I get caught there, but could Rickster not just follow Hindle, do the pit stop at the same time? I don't know how long Hindle's going to go on these, and then
he could, but every moment he spends behind Hindle here is time he's losing to Hybrid Nuke.
17 seconds now.
Exactly. That's the time he's got to keep an eye on as well. So for Rickster, you could say, yeah, follow him pit at the same time, but then they're both going to be on the option tyres. So for Rickster, he'd be better off, if he can't get past on this lap, pit. It's as simple as that. If he doesn't do it, he's not going to win it. Because even if Rickster pits this lap, he's coming out behind Hybrid Nuke, who is going to be going to the end of the race. So Rickster really has got to pit this lap. He's close enough possibly to have a look into turn 14, but Hindle kind of covering it off, saying, yeah, you're not coming through here, fella. All of this, though, is helping out Hindle's teammate, Hybrid Nuke. That gap is just going to keep plummeting as Rickster has a cheeky look, trying to get Hindle out of shape, but it's not quite worked. Not much between these guys. So, Rickster, what are you going to do? You've got to make your decision. You've got 2 corners to make the decision. I know what it should be. The viewers know what it should be. Do you know what it should be? The answer would be no on that one.
I'm looking at penalties, and within the top 4, 2 of the drivers have got penalties.
Oh, interesting for a possible shake-up at the end of the race as Hindle just run a little bit wide there, got himself a little bit out of shape. Oh, Rickster close enough. DRS. Can he make a move? Come on, give me a decent broadcast angle. It's not going to do it. There we go. He hasn't got the speed. He hasn't got the straight line speed, even on the better tyre, to make a DRS overtake. So how far back is Hybrid Nuke now? Because I reckon he's only going to be about... Yeah, I was going to say about 16 seconds. I tell you what, both of these guys, if they've both got to stop again, Hybrid Nuke's just done a number on them, because they're going to come out about 10 seconds behind him with not many laps to go, and their only hope being that that his tyres go off. But they're only going to go off a little bit, and Hindle now catching up to a bit of traffic. They've spotted it, pulling well out of the way. Nicely done there, and thank you very much. I thank you on behalf of the drivers. I'm sure they will have been saying it themselves. This is a very, very close battle, but I mean, I think really Rickster should have pitted a lap or 2 ago to have any chance of potentially winning this race. Because what he might find is that Hindle's going to go and pit now, and Rickster isn't going to be able to beat him, or Hindle's going to go to the end and Rickster's got another stop to make, because when Rickster stopped too long to get to the end, there we go, Rickster, yeah, he's into the pits. But Hybrid Nuke, he's going to have about a 10-second gap on him, I reckon. 15.4 seconds behind the leader through the previous sector, and Rickster's going to be disappointed. We'll have to remember that Rickster's sector time is going to have to reset. We may also see him, we can see him there, but he's going to disappear and go back into the pits, I reckon, in any moment's time. Yeah, no. Ooh, yeah, he has now. See, now, the reality of it, he's coming out of the pit lane now, and we've got a Red Bull front wings sat on the edge of the pit lane, and Hybrid Nuke is already heading up to turn 7. That's how much time Rickster has just lost there. Okay, so Hindle, he's now leading the race. We're going to have to wait a sector or 2 to get the relevant gaps. But can Hindle go the extra 7 laps on this set of prime tyres? I think they'll do it, just really, really slow. I mean, what would you do if you were Hindle now, Ray? Gamble it and take him to the end, or go for that pit lane and see if you can pull it back in?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, they're on the options. Rickster's is going to be good. I'd probably bet.
Well, Hybrid Nuke is 14.1 seconds behind his teammate now. Rickster, 25.5 seconds. He's 11 seconds behind Hybrid Nuke at this moment in time.
Hindle's in the pits.
So Hindle has gone for the stop then. He's going to be on a set of option tyres. So Rickster and Hindle might be battling here for second place now, because Rickster will have had an undercut on Hindle, But I don't think he hasn't got enough laps to close the gap into Hybrid Nuke. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. So as Rickster comes around the final corner then, we may see Hindle appear and then disappear and then reappear in the pit lane there. That's the correct gap between them. So Rickster has undercut himself back into second place, but he is 11, excuse me, 0.1 seconds behind the leader. That's a gap that's going to need to come down at such a rate of knots that Rickster will feel like he's driving a rocket. 6 laps to go, 11 seconds the gap. 10 seconds the gap. Oh, okay, Ray, you keep an eye on that one for a moment while I have a quick look through the order here. Acorn 95, he's still in 4th place. Apologies to any of the drivers that we've not covered much in this race, but that battle up at the front has kind of taken precedence at the moment. It's had a few twists and turns and it's still got a couple to come. In 5th place, Kay Slay. So after having to pit on the end of the first lap of the race, getting rid of the prime tyres and a damaged front wing, he's now been able to run option towards the end of the race. He should be on his last set now as well. So 5th place potentially in the bag. 20 seconds-ish off. Is it 20 seconds? No, 13 seconds behind 4th place. Don't know whether he's going to be able to catch him up. Dave the Harp, another 13 seconds back. Is he coming out of the pit lane? Yes, he is. Dave the Harp, he's made a final stop. Puts him on a set of option tyres in 6th place. Azamore in 7th. So the gap between Dave and Azamore is going to be about 30 seconds, so they're fairly safe. Ant69 is in 8th place. He'll be fairly pleased about his position at the moment. Adam 4600, he's now up to 9th place and he's got Acorn ahead of him. So bit of a opposite blue flag situation going on here. Front Row Racing NW in 10th place at the moment, and keep on going, fella, just keep on swimming. Hybrid Nuke, as we know, is leading this race, going to be trying to go to the end of the race. So viewers, it's time to cast your votes. Is Hybrid Nuke going to be able to keep it? Is he going to be able to hold on to keep the victory here? As he just pulled a fast one on Rickster in 2nd place.
I don't think so.
Oh, the gap is down to 8.3 seconds.
That was a second sector there.
Oh, this is going to get very interesting. And I tell you what, Hindle is 10.2 seconds off the lead. He's not too far behind Rickster. But as we saw, Rickster and Hindle in that first stint of the race, Rickster was more than capable of holding Hindle off. I'm wondering if Hindle sat there now going, what has just happened here? What has happened in this race? How am I now in 3rd place? 8.0 seconds behind the leader. Not much of a gain in that middle sector. Ooh.
Somebody said the definition of number 31 is how old you are. Nah, you're older.
No, I'm older than that. I'm 35. So no.
Back in the day. When was it? 2000?
Yeah, it's nearly 9 years. Well, it is 9 years ago. So Rickster 7.1 seconds as Hindle places a new fastest lap of the race. I'll just quickly confirm. Oh, we've got traffic at the exit of the pits. It's NW. No, he's alright, he's out of the way. Oh, could have got very interesting there. Yeah, a bit of information for any viewers. The World Series, which is this event, assists are allowed. So the drivers are allowed to use ABS, traction control. So lap times, although it may be absolutely fantastic, may also be assisted. But anyway, let's concentrate on the battle we've got. Rickster 2nd place, now 6.2 seconds behind the leader. 4 laps to go. Hindle right up Rickster's exhaust pipe. Oh, it's there's tension. I tell you what, Ray, go and ride on board with Hybrid Nuke and just have a look at his tyres. Have a look, see if he's struggling in any corners or whether he's just trying to play it cautious at the moment, knowing he's going to lose the time.
Back end's a wee bit wriggly out the corner. Over the bridge. Just keep an eye and see how he gets on.
5.9 seconds. It's gonna be. I don't.
He's rear end sliding coming out of corners.
At this,
going to be lighting him up.
well, at this point, if Hybrid Nuke pits, it's third place, right? That's it. No arguments. It's third place. If he carries on, there's half a chance. He's got half a chance. He could be trying to save a little fuel, look after the tyres a little bit. 4.5 seconds. He could be trying to look after the car, look after the tyres, so in the last 2 laps he can push it hard, he can defend it hard. Either way.
You can see Rickstar coming up behind him, you can see him in the rear view and the side mirrors at some points.
Yeah, there is the gap, folks. We can see it clear as day. That doesn't look like 4.5 seconds to me anymore. It looks about 2.8, 3.3. It's 1.2 seconds in sector 1 alone. I think Hybrid Nuke must be looking after his tyres. I mean, he's only been on them for what, 7-8 laps at the moment, so they will be struggling, but they should still be good for another 2 laps at least. I do think he's been looking after them a little bit, perhaps leading these guys into a situation of push, and perhaps push too hard.
You had a wee lock up and then a wee wiggle coming out that corner there. He's back with the locking. He's touched the wall.
Well, he's definitely struggling with tyre wear. He's definitely going to be struggling with pressure. Hindle can see what's brewing here, and he knows he needs to try and get past Rickster to have a chance of winning this race. Obviously, we don't know yet exactly who's got what penalties, but Hindle is really trying to pressure Rickster here. Rickster may even be close enough for DRS. But he's also got Hindle close enough to himself that he's going to get DRS. And Hindle's had a better penultimate corner, may be able to attack into turn 1. He's having a look, thinks better of it. He's going to try and use DRS to turn 7 instead. Well, Hybrid Nuke, yeah, he's definitely struggling, but the engine will be turned up to max power. He'll have no DRS. He could be a sitting duck. The rear end is sliding. So here comes Rickster then. Has he got this to try and make a move into turn 7? Both of them, the answer is no, but they're catching Hybrid Nuke up so fast in the corners. Oh, Rickster having a sneaky little look. Not quite got the space to do it. And you know what, if I was Hindle here, you've still got 2 and a bit laps to go. I'd let Rickster have a battle, go for it. It may end up in a disaster for the 2 of the cars ahead of him. Hybrid, oh yeah, he's definitely got not a lot of grip in those tyres. But he's going to have to make that car as wide as physically possible, but it may get to a point where...
to watch, he doesn't get too close and loses his front line.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I was kind of just hinting at. Hindle, it would be wise for Hindle to just play it patient here, because if Rickster can't get past Hybrid Nuke, there's no point in Hindle trying to get past Rickster. Whereas if Rickster can get past, you jump at the opportunity at the same time. Because if Rickster gets Hybrid Nuke out of position, Hybrid Nuke will struggle. He will struggle at a ridiculous amount. Oh, Rickster's trying to go around the outside of the ball. This could get tricky. This could get tricky. He's now going to go up the inside. DRS will be available.
Hindle.
I told you, get him out of shape, get the move done, and Hindle goes for the move as well. Side by side then. So, 2 overtakes in 1 corner. Hybrid Nuke down to 3rd place. He'll be frustrated about that, but guess what, folks? He's now going to have DRS. He may have a chance of fighting back, but I don't think his tyres are going to help him slow down. Oh, Hindle smacked the wall, a hard one there. He'll have to hope that he's not received any damage, but this is now his opportunity. Side by side, heading up to turn 7. Rickster's going to have to fight this one hard, and he does. Side by side into 8 now. Hindle makes the overtake, but Rickster might have a chance of an undercut. Hindle cuts him off. Turn 9. Hindle clipping the barrier. Up to turn 10 now. 1 and this lap to go. It is not over yet, folks, but if they end up in a heap, it'll definitely be over for them. But Hindle and Rickster kind of timed that very, very well there. Hindle making full use of DRS and using Rickster to get Hybrid Nuke out of position. Hybrid Nuke now can't fight back in any way. His tyres are shot. Ray, can you have a quick look through the grid, see if we've got any other battles going on anywhere else? And I will quickly take a moment at this point to answer the question of the day, because I don't quite think we're close enough for a battle just yet. So the question of the day was, from around about the 2006 period, what was in the Oxford English Dictionary the definition for the number 31? Well, there you go, folks. The answer was one more than 30. And I said it took me on a little bit of a journey. So here's the journey. I went, well, that's a bit silly. Okay, what's the definition of 30? One more than 29. Okay. And this goes on. Definition of 29, one more than 28. Definition of 28, one more than 27. And this goes on and on and on and on, all the way down to number 1 in the dictionary. So what is the definition of number 1? One more than 0. So a secondary question of the day is, what do you think the definition of the number 0 is in the Oxford English Dictionary?
One more than -1?
No. One less than 1. C1. Yeah, ridiculous, I know. Ridiculous, I know, but I couldn't help but share that one with you folks. So for anyone that got one more than 30 correct, well done. If you don't believe me, go and have a look in the Oxford English Dictionary. They may have changed it now, but that's why I said in around about 2006, because that's when I had a look. Okay, Hindle and Rickster, they're on the final lap. They're still battling it out a little bit here. Rickster is all over the back of Hindle. Is he going to be close enough to have a final attack anywhere? They're into the final sector. I don't think he's going to be close enough, not unless he goes for a brave or dangerous dive bomb. He's not close enough. So it looks like Hindle is going to have the lead comfortable here, but Rickster's not going to give it up. You never ever do. And that's not yabba dabba do, but Hindle might be shouting that in a moment's time. So Hindle then round the final corner, followed by Rickster to take victory in Singapore. A fantastic race from the front three guys there. Hybrid Nuke crosses the line in third place. Acorn 95 in fourth, 40 seconds off the lead. And I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a bit further off the lead as well, once the stewards have done their thing. But, I mean, I'm just a commentator. I commentated on what I thought I saw. But down to the stewards to have a look at the driver's footage to see what did happen there. But on the day, it is fourth place for Acorn. You know what? A very interesting race, and I tell you what, it just goes to show that Singapore in the dry is a much better race than Singapore in the wet. Fifth place, Kate Slate. Looks like he might be cruising it a little bit here. 10 laps on his option tyres. They won't be feeling too brilliant at the moment. He will be frustrated about another lap 1 collision that has ended up with him in the pits, needing a new front wing, because this guy has got pace. And even though he has recently converted onto the wheel, I think he's got pace to be up there with the likes of Front Row Racing GP, Dave the Harp, possibly even the leading 3 once he really gets up to speed. But Dave the Harp, 6th place it'll be for him. But remember folks, it is only a provisional result to the race until the Front Row Racing race directors have completed their investigations to anything reported to them throughout the event. So we'll have a quick look at the podium then. We'll see if the positions have switched round at all, and it doesn't look like they have. So Hindle takes the victory then. Rickster in 2nd place and Hybrid Nuke in 3rd. Very brave trying to make the 2-stop strategy work, but unfortunately for him it didn't, but worth giving it a go. So as they spray the champagne here in Singapore, we'll compose ourselves, get ready for the podium interviews. Which means for any of the viewers, if you have any questions that you would like us to ask the podium drivers, feel free to comment on the YouTube comments now. But if you could put @Ray for us before your comments, and then it'll be easier for him to find the questions from any random comments there. So you mentioned, Ray, that a few drivers had penalties. Hindle had penalties, Rickster had penalties, Hybrid Nuke had penalties, and Acorn had penalties, but it didn't switch their positions round. It was close, though. So 7th place we didn't get to see earlier on was Azamore. 8th was Ant69. 9th, Adam 4600 from a Racing NW in 10th place, and he achieved his goal, finishing the race on the track, getting the points on the track. Very well done to him there. Commiserations to Andy Russell from a Racing GP and whoever else did not make it to the end of the race there. A very difficult one for some of those. Okay, Ray, if you could do the honours for us and invite Hindle, Hybrid Nuke and Rickster into the podium booth.
We're just waiting on Hybrid Nuke and Hindle coming in.
Okay, so yeah, Rickster has joined us. Rickster, if you could quickly just make sure that you have got your microphone set to allow to be shared. If you don't usually check it, I would definitely check it because PlayStation has changed how it works its menu, so it might be... well, it's definitely worth checking. A Hybrid Nuke, if you can do the same, just confirm that you have got your microphone set to shared to allow as we wait for Hindle to join us, and I'll tell him the same. Hindle, if you could please confirm that you have got your microphone set to share to allow. PlayStation have altered some of their menus recently, and it may have turned it off if you've previously had it set to on, so please do check for us. Okay, gather your thoughts, guys. We'll give you a moment. I'm just going to take a swig of my drink.
Sam?
No.
I wish I had a drink.
What a boring race that was, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, Hindle. An interesting race there. Frustrated at all by Rickster taking pole position and not being able to really gain any extra time as the temperature dropped in qualifying?
A little bit, because I know I can go a bit faster than that, but I made a setup change just before the start of the race, which would help with tyre wear and in the race, so I wasn't that bothered, but it did bother me a bit. I mean, when I was looking at the sector times, and his middle sector was phenomenal. 37.8 I think he said. That's absolutely ridiculous.
It's not too shabby. It's not too shabby, I'll put it that way. So was it temperature in the qualifying session that, I mean, to all three of you actually, do you think it was the temperature dropping that meant that none of you really improved on your lap times?
Well, I was going quicker on the... I went quicker on my last lap, but the lap before that I think I was going a bit more quicker. And I got my time invalidated, so I had to back off and start again, but I think the temperature stayed this. It didn't drop drastically, did it? But, yeah.
We'll leave that as a maybe.
I don't know.
We'll leave it. We'll put that one in the maybe box. Okay, first into the race for you then. Were you just following Rickster, conserving tyres, conserving fuel, or was he doing your heading?
It's frustrating because I was so close behind him and I was just losing so much time. Like, I was missing my braking points, my turning points. It was so hard to follow him around. So I backed off a bit. And then I caught back up and I thought, right, he seemed quite slow on the straights. So I thought, right, get behind him, get the DRS, pass him. Couldn't even pass him down the straight. So I had to pit on lap 6. I was debating whether to go a bit longer, but I knew if I got the undercut, I could extend the laps on the other tyres, and it seemed to work in the end.
Yeah. Okay, so second stint, you're on the options. I guess you worked out that he was on the primes. He did go a little longer on that first stint. Then he's on the primes, drops off a little bit. Are you thinking at that point, I've got it in the bag now?
No way. Because I normally do the primes at the first stop, but because I was going for the undercut, I knew around here, because of the lap times, the options would give me a massive undercut on it. I think it was about 4 or 5 seconds it gave me. But in qualifying, the difference between the options and the primes seemed quite a lot. In the race, it was barely a second, I don't think. But yeah, it was far from over when I seen the gap.
I think it made a difference as well. If a driver on prime tyres behind someone on options that has the benefit of slipstream DRS can keep that gap a little closer. But really quick on his prime tyres, he managed to keep the gap at around 6 seconds. So he went for an undercut on yourself. It worked for him. And then we were into that last stint of the race. I mean, I'm guessing you knew that your teammate was going for a two-stop, or did you not?
Nope. He didn't even know himself because he kept going, he went long on the first stop, and then the second stop, he was still going round and round and round. And I said to him, are you doing a two-stop? And he went, I don't know.
Which means yes.
My tyres are going off. But yeah, probably about lap 26, he probably knew it was too late to pit anyway, so I knew that by then he was doing the two-stop.
Yeah, so you know he's on the two-stop. You can see that you and Rickster are catching him quick. You're trying to get past Rickster in that stint as well. Now, I commented saying that what you needed to do was just be patient. If you attack Rickster, it could all end badly. If you let Rickster attack Hybrid, you'll both go past. So was it a strategic wait for Rickster to do it and I'll do it as well, or was it just happened that way?
I'd say it happened that way because Hybrid was just like a moving roadblock. He just wouldn't move. So, but at the beginning, I weren't even concentrating on him, and then all of a sudden, we were right behind him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of waiting just to see what had happened, and then Hybrid went defensive into the last corner, put him out of position. I thought, I'm going for both of them here.
Well, I'm not sure it was Hybrid going defensive. It was all of a sudden Rickster was up alongside him on the outside in a place he might not have expected it, which, yeah, put him in the position that opened the door lovely. I mean, Rickster played that overtake very, very well, to be fair, but at the same time shot himself in the foot. But well done anyway, Hindle. We'll come back to you in a few moments' time. So, on to second place, Rickster!
Yeah, I got to keep it this week.
Yeah, until he goes and reports you for ETLs. So, I tell you what, Rickster, an interesting race from yourself there. And I'm going to pop a question in, and then we'll go through bits of your race. Now the race is done, has it occurred to you that you could have shortened your prime stint even more and double undercut Hindle and probably won the race?
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah.
So why did you not do it?
I don't know, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, well, now that's going to bug you until next week, we'll move on to qualifying. You got the lap in very early, and I'm guessing it wasn't anywhere near what you would like to think is your fastest around here. We know you had limited practice. But you got the lap in very early. Did you find it difficult to go out and beat it again, or were you comfortable with the time that you set?
I could have gone a lot quicker, but I set the lap, and then I saw that obviously Hybrid and Hindle were behind. I knew they could go quicker than it, so I was like, I'll just sit back. I'll wait for those to go out first to see what they do. And then it got to like the last 5 minutes, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go for another one. And then I saw that Hindle retired. But I was on a flying lap, and I saw that Hindle retired, and I don't think Hybrid was putting in another one. So I just thought there's no point in going for one now. I'll just back out, retire.
Okay. The start of the race, we don't know what may have happened at the start of the race. I think there may have been a few bits of bumping behind yourselves. But you get out into the lead. I asked Hindle, did you do his heading? So I'll ask you the same question. Did he do your heading in that first stint?
Yeah, he did. It was so much pressure on me. I was just like, in my head, just, right, nail every braking point, hit every apex, just drive like he's not behind you and you should be fine. And I was fine. And then, obviously, when I saw him go for the pits behind me, I was gutted because I was going to go that lap. And then I had to go around for another one, and then because I knew he'd get a huge undercut on me. But yeah, I saw him go for the pits, and I was a bit gutted about that. But there you go.
Well, you did choose to go for the prime tyre on your first stop. Were you surprised at how much time you didn't lose while you were on the prime tyres?
Yeah, I thought he was going to, open the gap by like 2 seconds a lap. But then it got to about, I think the highest it got to was 6.9,
Yeah.
and when it hit then, it started coming down. So I was surprised, but you know.
Do you think?
I am gutted though. Like I'm going back to that question earlier. I am gutted that I didn't pit earlier for the primes because I didn't realise the options could go.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to go back onto that question as well, because perhaps, I mean, I'm just wondering, like you say, it went to 6.9 and then it started dropping. So in your mind, you're like, okay, I'm catching him now. I'm on the primes, he's on the options, I'm catching him now. Do you think that perhaps is what led you to think, just keep going a little bit more?
I think so, yeah. I think once I saw the gap coming down, I thought I'll carry on. But then, like I said about the options, on my next stint after that, I managed to do 8 laps on them, and it did really annoy me because I was like, well, that means I could have pitted a lap earlier for my primes then, and then just done 2 8 laps at the end instead of an 8 lap and a 7 lap. But
yeah. Okay, on to the final lap of the race. I'm sat there. End of lap 21, Rickster pit. End of lap 22, Rickster pit. End of lap 23 is pitted. So you went for the undercut and it worked. It worked brilliantly. Had you done it a lap earlier, it would have worked even better. But it worked. But you come out the pits and you're 11, 12 seconds behind Hybrid Nuke. At what point did it clock on to you that he's going to stop?
I think straight away. I think it might have been a lap later, but I saw the time coming down, and I was expecting him to pit at around lap 23, 24, but he didn't. So then after that, I was like, well, he's staying on this 2-stop. We're going to catch him quickly, so I'm going to have some work to do at the end of the race.
Yeah. So how much fun was it catching him then?
Like seeing the time drop was great, but at the same time I was like, this is going to end up so messy at the end. Like I thought it was going to hold me up so Hindle could get past, or I didn't know what was going to happen. But in the end, it didn't work. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But at the end of the day, I'll take second. I would have loved to have finished, in front of Hindle, but second isn't bad.
No, you're right there. Very well done. A very good race. A very good race there indeed. So we move now on to Hybrid Nuke. I think it was 3rd place on the grid. I'm guessing not overly pleased with that one. So what happened in qualifying?
I don't know, to be honest. I remember about half the lap. I swear I blacked out. I think I was up first sector. And then Rickster's middle sector is just ridiculous, so enough said about that. And when I came through the last sector, I don't know how I didn't beat his time, but I only did one lap. I know he put a few more meters on his tyre, so I just basically left it. Hindle did a couple, and I was happy with hoping that my tyre wear would be alright.
Okay. Going on to the first stint of the race then, was it frustrating seeing Rickster and Hindle pull out a little bit of a gap on you? Or were you just playing it safe in those opening stages to make the tyres last?
The first stint, I mean, at the start, Dave the Harp got an amazing jump start on me. And a Ferrari as well, I believe. And we came into the first corner, I was on the outside, and I must have missed the rear of their car by about a millimetre. I went into the third corner thinking, how did I get away with that? But the first stint was me just looking after my tyres, making sure I kept them in sight.
So you went, I think you went and pitted on, because I think the gap was about 3.5, 4 seconds, something like that, to Rickster before they made their stops. Did you decide early on you were going to go long and see if the 2-stop is on, or was it just let's see how long these tyres will go?
Well, I always knew I was going to take the first stint a bit further. I probably could have done another lap. I feel like I should have done another lap in hindsight, but I knew I was going to take the first stop longer, and then the rest, I mean, my primes just did not wear out. I'm going, at some point I might have to pit. Yeah, I knew I was going to take the first stint long, but that was about it, really.
Okay. So on that prime stint, you say the tyre well wasn't too bad. So was there any phase of that where you start thinking, okay, I can possibly do a two-stop here. I could win this race.
I didn't actually know how many stops it was. I figured Hindle went straight on to the options, and I'm thinking he's going to go on primes, but that'll leave him up to 20. This is a three-stop. What? So when they just didn't run out, I'm trying to push it just that little bit more, just to kind of safeguard my options. I know that I did 1 or 2 laps, let's say, on quali on my options, and then did 8 laps in the first stint. So I could probably get 11 laps out of it. But the first stint, I was taking very good care of my tyres.
And the last stint?
It was very risky. So that last stint, I started off, when I changed Richter, it lagged, and he came out of the pits into turn 1, 2, 3, 4. And it lagged, so I went on the wide line, gunning it through into it, and then out of it, and realised he's still in the bloody pit. And I went, no. But at the end, you know, my tyres were starting to go off, and I'm thinking, I've still got a lot of wear left, so all I really have to safeguard against is the corners. I've got enough fuel, I've got better straight line speed than Rickster. So coming into that last corner, I did not expect that one. That was a great move and a great drive by Rickster.
It was,
and all the other drivers.
It was one of those moves that I would not be surprised if it caught you off guard a little bit on that one.
Oh, it did completely. I did not think that was going to happen. I think I said straight after, I went, oh, he's got me there, is he?
Yeah, it was a good move.
It was a great move.
And it was third place for yourself. Very well done to you there for that. Well done. A very exciting race. Could have done. A very exciting race from you three there. Oh dear. Okay, we'll move over to Ray. Ray, do we have any questions for the drivers from the viewers?
Yeah, I've been answered because I had to go for a wee break.
That it just means a break. Yes, he would have gone for a wee, but it just means he had to go for a little break before anyone complains. Go on, Ray.
Hindle, why did you go for a free stop? Wasn't a two-stop faster?
Well, no, because look what happened to Hybrid.
I was going to say, look at the finishing result. There's the answer.
Yeah, he was right behind us at the beginning of the last lap, and he finished up about 10 seconds behind. He must have about 8 seconds on that last lap.
Yeah.
Rickster, were you committed to a free stop, start to finish?
Yeah, I was committed to a free stop, definitely.
Rickster, why didn't you pass Hindle even though he was on the primes and you were on options?
I couldn't. I didn't choose to stay behind him. I couldn't. There was plenty of times where I tried. I could. He just placed his car so well. I just couldn't get it done.
And finally, Rickster, are you single again? It looks like you've had time to practice.
That's a yeah.
We're waiting for the answer. We're going to wait for the answer.
I didn't even. What was the question?
Are you single?
Am I single? No.
No. Okay. I'll tell you what. If Rickster was single, if Rickster was single, he'd have a lot less time to practice because he'd be out down Portsmouth Pier, hanging off the end of it, going, "I can fly," when really you can't. Okay. Any other questions there, bro?
DP, are we eating Singapore fried noodles?
No, I don't really like Singapore fried noodles. I'm more of a traditional egg fried rice, crispy shredded beef, pork wontons. That'll be it. But if that was GP asking, but I need to go for to the cash machine. Okay.
I'd just like to thank Hammer Time, USS Sylvester and Front Row GP for the questions.
Yep, thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to pop a final question here to I'll tell you what, go Hindle. Hindle. If the standings stay as they are, you've opened up the gap a little bit. With the races that are left, do you think it's yours now?
No,
Go on,
it's
say yes.
far from over. Because I'm quite confident going into next week because Japan's my favourite track. I know I'm quite good around there, so that should be a good one. The only track left that I'm not looking forward to
Mexico?
is USA.
Oh,
No,
USA.
USA. I can't quite like Mexico, but USA, I still have quite good pace there, but I just don't like it.
I've always said about the USA circuit, it's a great
Better backwards.
Yeah, it's a great track if you
Yeah.
drive it in the opposite direction. And it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone just wants to have a laugh, right, go on time trial and drive around USA the wrong direction. It is a much, much better track. I can't emphasise that enough. If I was involved in the FIA, that's the first thing I'd do. Right, drive around there the other way. It's better. Okay, so Suzuka, your favourite track, you've just cursed yourself. It's a DNF coming your way.
Oh, please!
Okay, so Hybrid Nuke and Rickster then. It is Japan next. Confident about that one? They're saying nothing because they don't want to curse themselves.
I'm not a fan of Japan. I'm not that good at it, so I'm not. I'm not expecting anything great out of next week. But I'll definitely give it a go. See what I can
That's
do.
what we like to hear.
Definitely.
Well, he said that last week and he turned up 10th behind us.
Yep. Okay, Hybrid Nuke, Japan.
It's not something I'm against. I quite like Japan. So I think it'll be another good battle between us three, but if not, me and Hindle.
It could be an interesting one. Okay, drivers, thank you very much for joining us for the podium interviews there. Well done on a very exciting race around the Singapore Marina Bay circuit. You are now free to hand over the microphones, make your way out of the commentary booth, because there's not much space in here, and I'm sure Hybrid Nuke keeps touching my backside.
It's Rickster.
It's Rickster. Oh, I don't mind Rickster doing that. He lives near the
See
beach.
how it is.
Well, when you live near the beach, that's a bonus. Okay, so but yeah, drivers, if you could make your way out to the commentary booth, thank you very much. And in a moment's time, Ray, we'll move on to have any of the drivers left us any additional comments about how their race went?
Front Row Racing GP will start with him as he was first in, as he had time to get his message in. He said someone hit him at the first corner and then he got total damage with the incident with Acorn 95.
Yep. I mean, that was a bad one, shall we say. Okay, next one.
And 69, Happy finally survived Singapore. Had he not lost the front line, thinks he could have been battling with Azamat.
Interesting one. And I have to say, very well done. Very well done to Ant69. He hasn't been able to complete a race around Singapore yet, but when it comes to race dates, I think it's the second or third time this season that he said, I've not got to the end of the race round here yet, and he's done it when it counted, and he scored points. So very well done to him.
Yeah, and then Adolf 4600, he had a puncture in his race, overdrove the car in the final stint and lost some wing. So he's a bit down on that.
Yeah, an unfortunate one there for Adam 4600. Hopefully, when he returns to Singapore, he'll visit the bit of barrier where he lost his wing, and he can sign the wall.
And Casely lost my wing at turn 5 on that one, struggled from there onward, had to do full stop, which wasn't ideal.
Definitely not. Change the Spanish flag. No, I mean, it's an unfortunate one for Casely there. I mean, I did see a bit of front wing in the turn 5 wall, and Yeah, I mean, like, as I mentioned in the race, the only upside was that he was on the prime tyre and he could get rid of them and go options from the end. So, I mean, he's done very, very well to get back up to about 5th place, I think it was. But again, it poses that question, what could have been without needing that pit stop?
And that's what I'd just like to thank the drivers, the fuel, for their questions and their pre-race comments.
Yep, very much so. I will second that one. Okay, bit of information for everybody now. Next up for the Front Row Racing World Series will be next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. on the YouTube channel, the Front Row Racing YouTube channel, which you should know about if you're watching this, because you're watching it on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel. 7:30 p.m. next Thursday for round 14 in Suzuka, Japan. A fantastic racetrack. I say that about most of them, but it really is. It's a brilliant racetrack and could give us a great race. And if it rains there, ooh, it won't be great. Well, it might not be great, but it could still be exciting.
Interesting.
It'll be interesting. Next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. for the FRRI Days Cup for round 14 in Suzuka, Japan. And the FRRI Days Cup is the feeder series into our F1 leagues. So if you've been watching this and you think, I can beat Hindle, I can beat Hybrid, I can beat Rickster, then find the Front Row Racing Facebook page. I will put a link in the description when this is up on YouTube later on. And send us a message. We'll send you the details. The main bits you need to know is that the Front Row Racing World Championship is an assists off league. The World Series is an assists allowed league. The FRI Days events are the way in. You come in there, you drive in there, you race clean, you race fair, you get on the reserve driver list, and then if any of the drivers need a reserve, they have the option of picking you. If you do get to do a drive, you will have to record your footage and will be subject to the full FRR rules and regulations, but the FRI Days events aren't, because it is just the feeder series. But yeah, that'll be on the YouTube channel tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Just a little bit of extra information. I know people have been wondering about when the PCF and the PCS, as Project Cars Fridays and Project Cars Sundays, will be starting. It won't be this weekend. I apologise about that, folks. I need this weekend to finish off getting the track order sorted out and a few bits of information, but it should hopefully be next weekend that we get that started. So, I think I've pretty much covered everything there, I think, Ray, haven't I? Yep, I think so.
Yep.
So, yeah. Time
That's
for
a
us.
goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from him. So, yeah, thank you very much, Ray, for joining us in the commentary box on that one.
No, thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
You're very
I'm
welcome.
getting demoted next week. Next Wednesday. Aye, next Wednesday.
Oh yeah, you might be. Yeah, I think Hulkenberg might be back for commentary on the World Championship next Wednesday. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back with an Australian accent or if he comes back with a New Zealand one instead. But we'll have to wait and see about that one. But anyway, time to start.
Let's skip it.
Yeah, he might be. Okay, we'll end it there. Thank you very much to all of the viewers for watching. Thank you very much to the drivers for taking part, giving us a great race there around Singapore. I've been Front Row Racing DP. We've been Front Row Racing World Series. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.